More than 10 years after the occasions of the principal film, the film starts with Jake Tarnish portraying his unobtrusive and serene life as head of the Omaticaya clan and raising a family with his significant other Neytiri, which incorporates his children Neteyam and Lok and his daughter Tuk, his adapted little girl Kiri, brought into the world from effortlessness Augustine's out-cold Na'vi avatar, and a human kid named Spider, the child of Miles Quaritch, who was brought into the world on Pandora yet couldn't be shipped to Earth in cryostasis as a baby. While Jake can acknowledge Spider as an adopted son, Neytiri is incredulous of him given his human beginnings. Notwithstanding, every one of the kids blend and mingle well with one another, including Spider. They have an ordinary existence until one day they notice a peculiar star in the night sky. Sadly, they understand it's a RDA space transport with people getting back to Pandora to colonize it, raising another super working base once more, making critical obliteration Pandora. Among the fresh debuts in the boat is Colonel Quaritch, who has been cloned into a Na'vi body and with his recollections transferred from before his demise. Accordingly, Quaritch can't recall his downfall on account of Jake, however is simply ready to remember the occasions previously and his wrathful mission to wipe out Jake. To keep the RDA from taking advantage of Pandora once more, Jake drives an essential guerrilla activity against the RDA supply lines, debilitating them. In one of the tasks, Lok, who resists Neteyam and is anxious to show what him can do as a Na'vi hero, attempts to help Jake in fight, however is injured. Jake safeguards and trains him to not imperil his own well-being by being crazy. That evening, while at the same time keeping an eye on his injuries, Neytiri serenely reminds Jake to be not excessively severe with Lok, to which Jake communicates his anxiety as a dad for the well-being of his youngsters. In the interim, the retaliatory strike on the RDA supply lines doesn't agree with Quaritch, who starts a hunt mission to kill Jake. During a fun-loving endeavor, Jake's youngsters alongside Insect investigate further into the rainforest. Unbeknownst to them, Quaritch and his group are in the area investigating the site where Quaritch finds his human remaining parts. An attentive Lok sees their presence and rapidly illuminates Jake. An engagement results and Quaritch's crew catches Jake's kids. Jake and Neytiri show up in time and free the greater part of them. However, Spider is taken by Quaritch, who remembers him as his child. On board the boat, the RDA attempts to force data about Jake from Spider, whom rejects. Evolving technique, Quaritch tends to Spider as his child and furthermore to make sense of more about the Na'vi in return for his opportunity on his side. Despite the fact that unhelpful and uninformed about Quaritch's genuine mission, realizing the risk Spider's information on his whereabouts stances to their security and furthermore to stay away from another disaster, Jake persuades a hesitant Neytiri and his family to expel themselves from the Omaticaya group and retreat toward the eastern seaboard of Metkayina, a coral reef island whose faction and way of life is adjusted to Pandora's oceanic environment. Jake gives his main mantle to his replacement and passes on altogether to Metkayina. Once showed up, they are welcomed by the tribe boss Tanawari and his significant other Ronal, who is dubious of them at first. In any case, Jake makes sense of their circumstance and they are consented to remain and given cover. Despite the fact that a few tribesmen mock Jake and his kids for their hereditary human legacy, the family learns the methods of the reef individuals, gaining the appreciation of them. Kiri is intrigued with the oceanic existence of Metkayina and fosters a profound bond with the ocean and its animals, while Lok gets to know Tsireya, the girl of tribe boss Tanawari and his better half Ronal. Spider shows Quaritch Na'vi culture. Quaritch is additionally effectively ready to tame an Ikran flying animal as his vehicle. While adjusting to their new climate, Lok gets into a battle with Tsireya's brother Ayanung when he pokes an unrefined fun at Kiri and him of their blended human genealogy. Jake reproves his child for his way of behaving. At Jake's demand, Lok gets back to apologize to Ayanung and his companions. Nonetheless, they captivate him to an excursion into the region of a hazardous ocean hunter, the Akula, and leave him abandoned in retribution. The Akula attempts to go after Lok. In any case, Lok is saved by and becomes friends with Payakan, a tulkun, a canny and pacifistic cetacean species whom the meat-hyena think about their otherworldly family. Lok can speak with Payakan through marking and eliminates an old spearhead from the monster's right blade. Upon his revisitation of meat-hyena, boss Tanawari, who became mindful of Aonung's deceiving of Lok, requests that the previous apologize to Lok. Nonetheless, Lok assumes the fault himself, winning Aonung's kinship. He is likewise informed that Payakan is an untouchable among his species. In the meantime, out traveling to a branch off of the Tree of Spirits, Kiri joins with it to meet her mom, yet experiences a brutal seizure. She is recuperated by Ronal, yet when Jake calls Norm Spellman and Max Patel for help, Quaritch can follow them to the archipelago where the reef individuals reside. Carrying Bug with him, he secured a whaling vessel which is hunting tulkuns to gather their mind catalysts for making hostile to maturing cures. Quaritch starts to severely scrutinize the native clans about Jake's area, bombing that. He arranges the whaling group to wantonly kill the tulkuns to draw Jake out. Lok intellectually interfaces with Payakan and discovers that the tulkun was projected out in light of the fact that he conflicted with the methods of his species and went after the whalers who killed his mom. At the point when the meat-hyena learn of the tulkun butchers, Lok takes off to caution Payakan. He is trailed by Netayam, Sirea, Rockstow, and Aonung. Kiri and Took spot them and join. They find Payakan being pursued by the whalers, and Lok, Sirea, and Took are caught by Quaritch. Kiri, Rockstow, and Aonung figured out how to get away from catch. Informed that their kid's in harm's way, Jake, Neytiri and the meat-hyena set off on a mission to stand up to the people. Quaritch powers Jake to give up, however seeing his spirit sibling wrist, Payakan assaults the whalers, setting off a battle which kills the vast majority of the team and fundamentally harms the vessel, making it sink. Netayam salvages Lok and Insect, yet is lethally shot. Jake faces Quaritch, who involves Kiri as a prisoner. At the point when Neytiri does likewise with Spider, Quaritch at first denies his child, however halts when Neytiri cuts Insect on the chest. Jake, Quaritch, Neytiri and Took end up caught inside the sinking vessel. Jake chokes Quaritch into obviousness and is protected by Lok and Payakan, and Kiri gathers ocean animals to help her save Neytiri and Took. Bug finds and safeguards Quaritch, however passes on him because of his brutality towards the Na'vi and putting his objective to kill Jake's family over being his dad and turning into a decent man, driving him back to rejoin Jake's loved ones. After Netayam's burial service, Jake and his family choose to for all time stay with the meat-hyena.